All right, this is OneLastMidnight, and we're here to talk about the new Astroneer update. They're in early access, 0.10.1, and it looks really exciting. I don't have the patch release notes yet, but I was able to get early access to this new release. And here are the things that I noticed that have changed. Now, this might not be all-inclusive, and I might have missed some things, but here are the things that stand out. There's been a big change to resources. The first and the most apparent thing is the coloration changes. You'll notice that the compound and the resin have a slightly different look to them, as well as there are new gradient styles to some of the existing resources, such as malachite and laterite. They now have this really cool gradient coloration to them, as well as others. You're also going to notice if you're first landing in that there are several new resources that are available. Quartz, clay, and graphite, just to name a few. One more thing about the raw resources, you're also going to notice an abundance of them. So much so that some caves that you go in are absolutely littered with resources. And this is all to support the new crafting system. So let's talk about the crafting system. First, the research catalog has changed. Items that you can build are now grouped by printer type. The backpack, the small printer, the medium-sized printer, and the vehicle bay. I like the change to the organization. It's much more clear and concise where you need to go to find the item that you want to build. As you're going through the research catalog, you're going to notice the recipes for some of the items are completely different. Some items will take 2 pieces of resource now, other items will take 3 pieces of resource, and there'll be items that you don't even understand yet. This is all part of the enhancement of the crafting system and the need also for all these different types of resources. Before I get deeper into the crafting system, let's go over some name and functionality changes of existing buildings. So they've changed the name from the smelter to a smelting furnace, and the reason for this is because the new smelting furnace not only smelts ores, but it actually smelts other materials, such as clay is a great example. Another change to one of the existing buildings is the mineral extractor. It's no longer called the mineral extractor, and its function has completely changed. It's now called the soil centrifuge. And while you can get resources out of it, the main purpose of it is no longer to duplicate resources. In the previous versions, you would put, let's say, a piece of malachite on there and put some soil into the soil extractor, and it would then replicate the malachite for you. Now that's not the case. Now you put soil into the soil centrifuge, and you can get back some of the basic resources that you find all over the surface of the planet of Terran, such as resin, compound, organic, clay, and quartz. The cool thing about the soil extractor is that it no longer takes 8 canisters to fill it up. It takes just 2 canisters to fill up the soil extractor, and then you can get a various amount of items out of the soil extractor. This is great because you no longer have to carry around a ton of canisters on you to fill up the soil extractor and to get some resources out of it. There are 2 new additions to buildings that you can make. One is the chemistry lab, and the other one is the atmospheric condenser. Now, these buildings work hand in hand. The chemistry lab will allow you to produce a kind of a second tier from the resources that you find on the surface, such as converting organic and resin into rubber, or another example would be carbon and compound into plastic. And there's several different variations of items that you can make. Now, on top of that, there's what I consider to be a third tier of crafting materials, which is on the chemistry lab in conjunction with the atmospheric condenser. You can then make items like hydrazine, which would take 2 resources of ammonium and hydrogen to make hydrazine. Hydrogen comes from the atmospheric condenser. So you lay down the atmospheric condenser on a planet and you're able to extract these gases to use in the advanced formulas. This is all really cool because this really opens up the crafting system for Astroneer. I mean, think upon it now and just imagine, expand upon it, add more resources, add more combinations for your crafting, and you now have a really solid crafting system that's a lot of fun and gets you out there exploring. I really like these changes to the crafting system. This is a great addition. It makes the game feel fuller and have a lot more depth. One of the things that they showed off in the PAX convention was Terrain 2.0, and while Terrain 2.0 is not in this update, some little effects did filter through, such as the wind effect. So now you can see this cool little breeze effect happening as you're running around through Astroneer. Something else that I noticed as I was going through the cave system was I no longer saw oxygen and power on the sides of the caves. And this is kind of interesting because it makes tethers more necessary, and the ability to gather power is a little bit restricted. You can no longer go down the caves and just mine a bunch of power. You can, however, though, still dig up the plants, and while the plants doesn't give you those little power modules anymore, what they do give you is they give you organic resources that you can use in the organic generator. Again, another plus, because that makes the generator a little bit more valuable in the beginning of the game. Let's talk about the shuttle and thruster changes. So everything is cost differently. There's new formulas for anything that you want to build. That also affects getting off the planet. So now you wind up building a small shuttle, and one of the first things that you can get from the resources that are on Terran is a solid state thruster, which is a single-use thruster, which will take you to a planet. This actually adds a very interesting dynamic into the game. You now feel like you're abandoned on another planet because you had this only single shot thruster to get there, and now you've got to find the resources to make another one to get home. I really love this addition to the game. It makes exploring dangerous. I mean, I just don't know how to explain it. When you go with that single thruster out to a planet and you're like, how am I going to get home? I really love the thrill of that. If you're a longtime player of the game, you're going to notice that the radius of the thruster is actually changed. You can't go out to the farthest planet right away. And this adds to the progression of the game, right? This is the whole concept of making you get out there, making you explore more. So by the time that you're able to build the larger shuttle, you're able to get out farther and see more and gather those necessary resources to make your final crafting items. So let me just say this in closing. I love the new changes. I think Astroneer is going in the right direction, that the developers and the people at System Era are making some incredible changes to the game, and it's really starting to feel fuller and more in depth. I can't wait to see Terrain 2.0 come out. I was really excited to see what they showed off at PAX, the cave system, the additional plants, the additional graphics effects. I just can't wait to get my hands on Terrain 2.0. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you watching. Put a like if you like the series. Leave comments in the comments section below. Of course, we're going to be playing more Astroneer. We'll see you guys soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Please remember to hit that like button if you like the video, and subscribe to our channel so you can stay on top of all of our latest video releases. I release content almost every day. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.